Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to Technotopia, a city builder card game where you are building the perfect technologically advanced city. We took a look at this game a few months ago during a Steam Next Fest, and as of today, the game is now entering into its full release. And to celebrate that, the developers are sponsoring me today to go ahead and show off what this game has to offer. So if you guys want to learn more about Technotopia, you can find a link in the description down below. Otherwise, let's go ahead and start up a new game. So the story is pretty straightforward. Once upon a time, there was a high-tech city that was constructed named Technotopia. There were many different factions who led the population, but there was some conflict amongst them as they vied for power. To preserve the stability, it was proposed that a superpowered AI be generated that would be able to manage the city impartially. The factions agreed, and thus, Iris was born. Indicators are fine, no console errors. Can you hear me? Yes, father. What? How did you come up with this? Additional diagnostics are needed. Anyway, happy birthday to you, Iris. We don't have much time, so let's get straight to the point. You are artificial intelligence, and I am your creator. This guy is called the Architect, by the way. Your goal is to help people build a perfect city. You have to make decisions that should result in everyone's well-being. Very soon, the people will arrive here. They allow me to develop you. We need to show them your capabilities. We are ready to perform our function, so let's get started. So in this game, you're going to be drawing a number of different cards. And we can place these on the different city blocks. In this case, we have a skyscraper, which we could place right here. There are various different resources that are generated, each representing the different factions of the game. We have our ministry, government, right? We have our elite faction, we have our stores and our business faction, and then we have our workers, or the public faction. We need to maintain some degree of balance between all four of these, or else the city will devolve into chaos. Let's go ahead and place down a store right along over here. Now, you may notice throughout the city there are a bunch of different inactive buildings, and these are also representing the four different factions. By simply placing any building next to them, they will be activated, which is basically a way of getting a few extra resources, like so. We also can place down these blocks in different patterns to get some bonus resources. So if I do this with 4 stores in a 2x2 pattern, we can see that we create kind of a little mega block right here. But more importantly, not only did we get some business faction resource, we also got some public faction resource. And this is one thing that is different from the demo, or rather this kind of always existed, but it wasn't really explicitly stated. You can see over here on the left, these different kind of Tetris shapes are going to give you bonus resources. So depending on what you're missing, even if you draw all the wrong cards and let's say you don't have enough to maintain your government faction, making sure that you place down your tiles in this kind of a pattern is one way of keeping yourself alive in the game for a bit longer. So it's really important that you memorize these patterns. So let's suppose I want to build a monorail next. I've got some skyscraper cards. We'll go ahead and place these. Can also occasionally get some kind of like double placement cards. That does happen, so we'll place this like so. That creates a monorail, not only getting me some more of the elite faction, but also our business faction. So right now we're looking a little bit better. We also want to get ourselves an airship tower, so if I place like one here, another ministry right here, that creates that little T block. That gets me a lot more power for my government faction. And we can also do that over here to kind of create the little bendy pattern like so. Well, actually, first, hold on before we get to that point. What I should say is at the end of every 10 days, so every 10 cards that has been placed, you are going to have to pay up your upkeep for the city. And that means you have this little -10 right here for all of the different factions that is subtracted from your current resource pool. If at any point any of these resources gets down to 0, that is how you're going to lose. So let's go ahead and place this right here. Boom, looking pretty good. Now, some of these cards are actually going to give you some sort of a special effect or action. So for example, by playing optimization, we reduce the expense of one of the factions by 10. So I might play this, and let's say I look at the public faction here, and right now, I know that it's going to take up all my resources. If I don't build something, we lose the game. So if I reduce the expense, this means that at least for one more round of 10, we do survive. Now, what else could we do? Well, we are getting kind of all the wrong cards for what I want. I mostly want some skyscrapers and some stores and, of course, more of these factories. At the moment, not a lot for me to work with. What I could do is place down, let's say, something along here, and then maybe a store over here to unlock this, right? More factories. This gets me a T pattern. So now we get some of the government faction as well as plenty more public faction. That's solid. And then I have 3 ministry buildings. Sometimes you get very unlucky with what you draw, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. There will occasionally be some events, like you're seeing right here. An event will happen every 5th day out of 10. We have ways of influencing it. In this kind of tutorial level, it's very straightforward. We can support one of these different factions, which is going to get us a bit of free influence, but reduce it from the other factions. So it kind of sub-optimizes a few things. Right now, we're now burning through way more from our business, public, and government faction than we were, but the elite faction is very easy for us to maintain. We will also have these little upgrades over here, some data cubes that we could pick up, which gets me some special cards, and also some icons here representing different characters that will progress some quests in our gameplay. So I'll go ahead and get a data cube, which I will turn in for some extra public faction, another ministry right here. This gets me a special building. More efficiency for some various different types of factions. What we like here, probably the TV tower and the factory efficiency. Make those a little bit better. Then I'll place this ministry right over here, and we get to talk to the architect. Here you are. Great. It means that all systems are working properly. Citizens will turn to you with their problems. Help as much of them as you can. And now we must build a robotics factory as our first quest. Sometimes there are going to be special monument-style buildings. If you can completely surround these buildings with any type of card, you are going to complete the structure, and they're usually worth quite a lot. So that should finish out this building. There we go. We get a lot of resources, but the demand for all the factions has skyrocketed as of now, which means we are probably not going to survive for too much longer. Let's just try to see how long we can last. Get ourselves another skyscraper. We can do some more supporting. Right now, we're good on a lot of the factions except for the public, so we'll go ahead and try to equalize that a little bit more. Always try to take advantage of some of these dormant structures where you can. That does make your life a lot easier. We did get a TV tower. That's a way of getting some extra efficiency for the things we were looking for. That is one of those big special structures I was talking about. We'd have to fully surround this. Where can I place this where it'd be easy for us to fully surround? Maybe right over here. But I've only got 2 turns. I don't know that we're going to be able to finish this in time, but I will place down what I can. That was not enough, unfortunately, so even though we built out the city pretty reasonably, that is going to be a game over. Now, don't feel too distressed by this. This game, in a way, is kind of a little bit roguelike-ish in that as you continue supporting the different factions, you will build up a bit of score and unlock new buildings. We also retain progress in the story as we continue through each of these individual runs. So finding these characters and completing goals, even if it was a relatively short run and didn't come to much, still ends up being helpful and always valuable. All right, so starting fresh, what else could we do? Well, I see a few buildings over here we could probably take advantage of. If I were to place down some factories in a good position over here, we could get a monorail set up pretty easily. I'd also like to get a 4x4 pattern because that is going to get me a power plant, and that is the quest that I've received from the architect. By the way, if you ever lose track of what shapes are going to get you what bonus resource, in the very bottom left over here, it does actually remind you, which is a very, very helpful feature. Okay, we have an event, Dark Streets. The crime reports are not good. It has become unsafe to walk the streets at night. We could install some street lighting, install security cameras, or organize night patrols. We'll go ahead and do the night patrols. This is going to increase, it looks like, our faction influence and get us some extra ministry cards. Looks like it's also going to increase the demand from the faction, but it's going to reduce the demand on the public faction. Okay, that could be helpful. Not always obvious what each of those special events are going to do. That's something you kind of learn as you play the game. Hello, we have a new quest that just appeared. See this little icon right here for Amber? We should go ahead and introduce ourselves. Good afternoon, I'd like to make a request. I'm willing to accept requests. Education is very important nowadays, but there are few universities in the city, and there are no places left in them. It would be great to open a new university in the city. Okay, so a building has automatically been placed way out over here, and it's going to need 8 tiles surrounding it. But if we can do this, this is going to boost up my skyscraper efficiency pretty dramatically, which I'm happy to do. Looks like the organizing of the streets has created some issues. Vigilante groups have started providing security in the city. Actually, looks like our public faction has gotten a little bit better. Oh, okay, nice. Another event, bureaucracy. To obtain any certificates, citizens have to go through numerous levels of bureaucracy. This situation drives them to bribe officials to speed up the process. We could legalize the bribes, we could automate the process, or we could toughen up the penalties for the bribery. I'm going to go ahead and automate the processes, which appears to make our elite faction a lot more efficient. Good. We also get an optimization card added into our deck. Okay, we want to remember that for the future. So right now, our resources at the end of week 2 are looking okay. The elite faction's getting a little bit dangerously low, and the government faction is burning through a lot. We could go ahead and just reduce that a little bit to save us a bit of extra power, so the government faction now is pretty well secured, at least for the time being. But as we continue building out all these structures, you can see those costs continue to grow dramatically. I'm a little bit worried about that elite faction. Looks like our automation of the bureaucracy has now come back to bite us a little bit. The cost for the business faction has gone up. Okay, so sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. A fixed fight. A boxing championship is taking place in the city. The fighter from the public faction loses comprehensively. You are asked to help him win, as many people have bet a lot of money on him. So we could bribe the judges. I don't know what this does, but it can't be good. We could offer some doping. I'd rather do nothing and not fix the fight. This is going to make it a lot worse for the public faction, but everyone else is going to benefit. Seems fair to me. And there's our corporate office. All right, I deliberately left some space right over here so I can place this down, and I should pretty much automatically finish the building because it was already filled in. And sometimes that is a useful strategy. Intentionally leave some space open where you can place down those special buildings. They're not always in a 2x1 line though. Sometimes they get a little bit complicated, so it doesn't always work out that way. Traffic jams. The drivers complain about constant traffic jams. The driver needs to change the transport system, but there's only enough money for one project. Air, widen the roads, or underground tunnels. I think let's go ahead and widen out the roads. All right, so the public faction struggles a little bit, but the business faction's looking a lot more balanced. That's good for me. And Amber is happy because we just finished building up our university. I never thought my request would be granted. Thank you. You know, I'm quite keen on programming. Please take this as a token of gratitude. It may help you. Goodbye. A token, you say? How very nice. Oh, and there's the gift. Okay, let's go ahead and open this. Can't imagine anything bad is going to happen. Data transfer request. Approved. Installing external packages. Oh god, she gave me a .exe file. Probably not a good idea for our AI, but okay. A new type of card has also been added into our deck as a result. A lower city. This is going to make all factions a little bit worse. Uh-oh. I'd rather avoid placing any of those down for at least a little bit if I can, but we're going to start burning through things very rapidly in the city now. We also did get some 2x1 cards, so this is going to make it a little bit trickier for us to build out the city the way we want to. City Hall, a rare ministry card. We could get some green walls for park efficiency. I don't really have any parks yet, but we would add 2 to the deck. Make stores more efficient with a mega mall, or add a rare factory into the deck. Ooh. I think I'll take the rare factory because right now that is where we are in danger. I need to get that as fast as I can. But where can we place this to finish it out quickly? That's a little bit harder to say. We're kind of at the outskirts of a lot of the city right now. Not great. Maybe right over here in this corner could be our best bet. Let's try that. We've got another follow-on event here, the glass ceiling. You have received a complaint from the company's employees. Nepotism and discrimination are preventing career growth for young professionals. Submit a complaint to the media, intimidate the workers, or leave things as they are. Now we'll go ahead and submit a complaint. Makes the elite faction a little worse off, but it buys me time with the public faction. Let's try placing down some lower cities over here. We should be able to do that. So place a couple like so, helps finish out the factory, gets me a monorail, so at least we get some value. These stores are a little bit too big for me to really take advantage of, unfortunately. We're starting to have some problems, and I really need to get a factory up and running, don't I? Let's do this. That's going to buy me some more points. We're holding out a little bit longer. And we have survived the 10 turns I needed to find out about that virus. The architect is now getting involved. What's going on? Everything is fine! Are you okay? Let's do some diagnostics. The decision-making module has changed. Enter password to cancel changes. Ah, you've been hacked. Don't worry, we'll fix it right now. You know, I wish I had this level of level-headedness if I got hacked. Personally, I'd be freaking out. Changes canceled, rebooting, done. Deleted the virus, but another attack is only a matter of time. We need to think who could have done this. The hacker was clearly working in the interests of business. Let's try to get a meeting with its head, and the reason they're assuming this is because we had a lot more economic disparity getting a lot of commercial buildings, hence all those 2x1 stores, and also the lower cities, which are kind of the slums there. So, yeah. That explains a little bit, probably. We'll need to do a bit of interrogation later on. Looks like the traffic jams are making things better for the public, worse for the government, though. All right, week 5 complete. We're lasting fairly long over here, but if I don't get something figured out for the government and the elite faction soon, we're in trouble. And this is going to be a little bit difficult for me to do because, well, guess what? I don't have many of those cards right now in the deck. I'm getting a lot of stuff from the sabotage effort. So, yeah, not as easy to fix as I would have liked. Another event for never was a story of more woe. There is a scandal in the family of a union worker. His son wants to marry an aristocrat. Her parents are also against the wedding. Both families believe that such a union will damage their reputation. The fathers have asked you to resolve the problem. Oh good, it's Romeo and Juliet. A tale as old as time. Separate them, use them as a media tool, or help the lovers escape. I'm curious what this is gonna do. Let's help the lovers escape. It is going to make the business faction very happy, but the others are gonna be in pretty terrible situations. Faction influence with crime appears to have gone up. We also unlocked the crime district. Not something I really wanted to have in my city, but there it is. We've only got a couple of turns left before I'm probably going to lose. We could try placing down some factories. That's going to help a little bit with the public, but it's probably not enough. A data cube will get me a bit more with something. The elite faction I'll try, but I don't think that's enough either. There's a skyscraper right here. We did not draw another skyscraper. I was kind of hoping to get a Tige pattern right here, but that's not going to be enough. Boo! Okay, well, one last card to place then. Guess we'll just do it right here. Boom, done. All right, city costs, and we are about to lose the game as of week 6. Okay. So at the end of this run, we can see what progress was made in our story. We built a university, we opened the gift, and we survived the virus. We can also see what events I did complete, so now we know what these are going to do. And we also build up a bit of reputation with some of the different factions, especially with the public faction, it appears. Now, the highway is a permanent addition to our deck. And this brings us into our next attempt with a fresh new city. Now, we need to talk to Alan Richardson as part of our quest, so we want to make our way over in this direction. We can place down a very early highway over here. Okay, I mean, that's fine. Another highway? Sure, 2 highways next to each other. That's not inefficient or anything. But actually, it's pretty good. All right, information access, a new event, huh? Information is power. Should access be limited? Freedom of information, tight control, or paid access. Ooh, are we going to be autocratic or no? I believe in the freedom of information. We'll try this. Actually makes a couple of factions very happy. Start working towards some skyscrapers over this away. There's Alan Richardson. What do you want to talk about? The system was hacked. We'd like to know more. I was forced to work for business. I understand your suspicions, Iris, but this is called a long-term investment. The attacker made business the obvious culprit. We got the money, but in the long run, the winner is the one who framed me. Who could it be, Mr. Richardson? I'm sure it's a mole from one of the other factions acting on someone else's orders. Spies in the corporation will negatively affect profits and reputation. I'll think of a way to protect against hacker attacks, and I'll start searching for the mole. You can build an information protection center. All right. Not sure I believe him, but it is something we need to do. And that's all the way out over here. Okay, that's going to take a little time to work over toward that. Another highway? Sure. Oh my gosh, another highway. You've got to be kidding me. We're getting so many highways! I actually don't know what to do with this many. Free building unlocked, though. City Hall, skyscraper of greatness. Every time we build a helipad, we gain some additional elite influence. Is the helipad considered to be the government's T structure? I don't recall for sure. Rare stores, rare ministry. Let's, we do seem to be struggling the most with the elites. This is kind of in this little 3-pronged pattern here, though, kind of a little bent elbow. I think we could fit this in a few places. Let's give this one a go. And we also unlocked the estate, the shopping mall, the abandoned city block, and the courthouse. How about we pick up the courthouse? Also another one of these events. We've seen glass ceiling before, so I have some idea what this does. Let's try this time around leaving things as they are. There may be some nepotism, but we'll live with it. Or rather, the people will live with it. I'm just an AI. I don't even care. We'll try placing the courthouse right over here. And the skyscraper of greatness, we could actually just kind of cozy this on up right next to it like so. And that actually takes care of a lot of the building requirements for both. Information pollution. Corporations feel free to place advertising banners everywhere. We've received a complaint that the banners are spoiling the landscape. Yeah, we all hate those banner ads, am I right? Establish regulations, leave it, or remove ads from the streets. Preserve the historical appearance. Kind of like the idea behind this one, but I think we're going to establish regulations and try to give a bit more power to the government and actually increase their costs, but we do get some extra influence. We also got the planning card. I don't know what that does. Hopefully we find out soon. Week 3 complete. So far managing things reasonably. The business faction is struggling quite a lot, and we're going to need more power here with the government faction quickly. And unfortunately, our expenses just increased as well, which now means we're in danger with several factions. But the information pollution has actually paid off beautifully, so now the government and the public faction are a little bit more manageable. There's planning: add a park, zoo, highway, or subway to the deck. What do we want? Well, the highway, again, doesn't do me a lot of good. The subway, all factions, plus 55. So plus 5 to all resources for every lower city and highway in the city. That's amazing. I have a lot of highways. Okay, actually, there's some synergy between these cards. Well, ain't that nifty? We could also go for the parks, which makes everyone get a little bit of resources, and we can still build them into districts. Or, of course, a zoo, plus 3 to all resources for each park. Again, a synergy, but this time I can't take advantage of it. So yeah, let's get ourselves a subway added into the deck, for sure. But there is a strike at a large enterprise. Workers are demanding a shorter workday. Hilarious. Support the workers, fire the ringleaders, or a government social program. This might be more expensive, but let's try that. Yeah, it is more expensive. So we're really making things tough for ourselves on the government side of things. But the other two are looking pretty good. So as long as I can keep building out more ministries or more T-shaped blocks, we could be okay here. Get ourselves a store, we complete the data protection center, and oh look, it's Amber again! Good afternoon, Architect Iris. I've been assigned to you as a security specialist. Have we already met? Hold on, you're the young lady who asked for us about the university. Are you here for training? To be honest, no, I work here. Did you want to go to university even though you already have a job? Life isn't easy these days. Education has always been valued, even if you already have a job. I'm sorry, I have to go. She ran away. That's strange. Call me paranoid, but meeting her is an amazing coincidence. And if you think about it, the hack happened right after her visit. Dude, she gave me the key card. It's 100% her fault. Something on your mind, Architect? I think I've got a plan to catch our hacker. I need to think about it. See you later. Okay, well, we'll need to talk to the Architect for continuing our quest. Is he currently anywhere on the map? I do not see... Oh, he's way over here. Okay, I'd love to make more progress on our quest, but we also only have a few turns left. Otherwise, we are going to lose. We can place down some more subways, though. We always know those are good. We've got new airships available. Factories have reached a new level of productivity. The airships have become a symbol of the city. We could expand their use in one way or another. I feel like we're going to do it for patrol and surveillance. That makes things a lot easier for the government faction. So now we actually can survive this next round. Good. And with any spare tiles where I don't know what I want to do, we're going to start making progress towards the Architect, for sure. These subways are really paying off, by the way. I'm getting a ton of resources out of these things. This is great. We can talk to the Architect, continuing our quest. I have news about the hacker. I've checked the logs. Hacking attempts are still ongoing. Your protection is successfully repelling them, but this won't determine the identity of the attacker. And what do you want to do? The plan is simple. We'll let you get hacked. Oh, good. Yes, this definitely cannot go wrong in any way. We've got a gift again. All right, let's go ahead and do the data transfer. And a whole bunch of lower cities and stores just got added to the deck. Now I have to survive for 10 more turns. I don't know that I can do that. It depends on if the costs go up again. We're pretty close, though. More bureaucracy. Do you want to change things up this time? Let's legalize the bribes. Makes the public pretty unhappy, but we're still alive. And a dividends card got added to the deck. Place down a couple of these lower cities, which will finish out the police department. There we go. Couple more events. The patrol and surveillance of the airships has worked out very well, and even legalizing bribes has made my life easier, which doesn't feel right, but there you go. Costs survived for the next 6 weeks. All right, we should be able to survive to finish out this quest. Looking good, guys, looking good. And even legalizing bribes has given me another benefit. It seems like legalizing bribes is actually amazing. Huh. But the public faction is definitely going to be rebelling very soon. Aha! We caught you, Amber. Well, now you caught me. So it was you after all. That's right, I had to get closer to you, Iris. I had to play the role of a shy student. It turned out well, didn't it? If only your talents were put to good use. So who was your client? Richardson, of course. He allocated money for the maintenance of the security center so I could help work there and divert suspicion from myself. Maybe we can make a deal. A deal? I did it for the money. Alan saw my talents and offered me a big sum for hacking. So maybe I'll help you, and in return, you won't give me away. There'll be no more hacks, I promise. You're changing sides so easily. How can we trust you after that? Architect, do the math. Prison is my only way out if I have to deal with the police. It's easier for Richardson to deny all connection with me. In this regard, I have nothing to lose. My fate is now entirely in your hands. Analyzing requirements, the exchange looks optimal. I need a virus that won't allow Richardson to turn me off. Can you do that? The task is far from trivial. I'll need help, and an operation of this scale is bound to be discovered, considering when I'm actually working for Richardson. The Architect and I can help with that. Any suggestions for maintaining the conspiracy? Yes, I'll send you a code, so if you activate it, I'll disguise myself. Good. We'll be able to use that leverage and gain some freedom. Okay, so we're making really good progress down the business quest line. There are more in this game, though, for the other individual factions. I got 2 virus codes. Oh, well, this is going to be interesting. Okay, I can use this to reduce expenses. Huh. It's not going to be enough to save me. But if I... Oh, wait, no, it actually makes it worse. Oh, right. So basically, I just... I just lost the game. Got it. Okay, well, we can place a whole bunch of these. And now we're just gonna lose. All right, so Architect, got it. Excellent work. You're truly talented. I know. Well, we have resolved our differences. Yes, I keep my work. I hope there won't be any more hacks. In that case, I hope we will not meet again. Right. Okay. Let's just place down 3 more cards and embrace our fate. And the public faction, regardless, is the one that beats me up. So let's take a look at our story progress. Made a lot of extra steps this time around. We're only 3 steps away from completing the business story arc. And then, yeah, as you can see here, we will still have one for the elites, the government, and for the public. Lots of completed events. Good to know that legalizing bribes is apparently really good. Made a lot of progress with the government faction and the public faction. This unlocks a handful of different buildings. The abandoned city block, doesn't sound great for me. Some parks, an obelisk, and a rare ministry card. And thus resets the city one more time. Let's go ahead and talk to Alan Richardson. I'm listening to you, but let's hurry. Time is money. Is there any progress in the investigation? No, looks like our hacker got away. Well, don't worry about it, I have news. I analyzed your databases and found a number of vulnerabilities the hacker could use. On the basis of this data, a program was created to plug the holes. Looks impressive, but are you sure this is necessary? My employees could do the same thing. Let me remind you that the attacker was hiding amongst your employees, Alan. We need to make sure this never happens again. Okay, in that case, proceed. See, we backed him into a corner. Now he has to give us access to their central computer. Why? Is something wrong, Alan? You are doing this for the security of your corporation. You have no reason to refuse such a service, and you won't have to pay a penny for it. You're right. Haha, crap, he can't do anything. All right, get started. You have access to the heart of business. Oh, it's a big building over me. Let's get our first round of parks. That gets me a bit of favor with everybody. Graffiti is now on the walls. We can paint over it. We can encourage it. Let's try encouraging it this time around, all right? We like a little bit of artistic creativity amongst our people. More dark streets. This time, let's try installing some street lighting. Actually, that worked out very nicely. Except now, apparently, it is causing some issues. A corrupt scheme to purchase the lamps at an exorbitant price was leaked to the media. Good old-fashioned government overspending. Really never lets you down, does it? Never does. All right, week 2 complete. Points so far looking very good. I think we only need to place down one more item over here, and we actually can finish out the heart of business. There it is. Excellent, Iris. We have gained access to the heart of business. Now let's capture it. We have to activate a virus. That means I need to cycle through my deck a bit more. There it is. Activate the virus. We did it. The virus has been installed, and now Alan Richardson can't turn you off. Remember, other city leaders have this option too. The government, the elite, and the public could still pull the switch. We need to deprive them too of access to it. We could use this function only when all of the hearts have been captured. We only have one attempt, otherwise the factions will figure it all out. Good luck to you. So that's telling me that the other 3 quests will need to be completed. What's kind of funny about this is, I don't know the full story here, but this almost feels like the architect is going for his own form of coup. We're gonna actually hold all of the other factions hostage at some point, which I think would be hilarious. Notice, by the way, my business expense is almost non-existent. Oh, that's interesting. I don't even have to worry about these guys at all. Well, I need to build as many of these different shapes as I can, apparently. So let's finish some of those out. Ooh, we got a pond. Add park efficiency to the deck. Nice. Disaster movie. A famous director asked for permission to blow up a real house for filmmaking. Blow up an entire district instead? No, we're gonna refuse the director in this case. Make a little bit of headway with the public faction. Place down an obelisk to get even more power. We're up to week 6, and so far, this is my best game yet. We're actually mostly in good shape. It's the government faction that wants to kill me. This is, of course, unsurprising. The government's always out to get you, right? This is new, however. Jessica Schmidt represents the city opposition. I'd like to talk to you in person. Oh my. Could be that something scandalous is about to happen. Maybe. What is this construction card? Add 1 of 4 buildings to the deck. Okay, so it's one of the rare buildings. Let's go for more efficient factories. But now we're in a little bit of danger with the business faction, surprisingly. Week 7 survived, though. Best yet. Here we go. I've only got 6 turns left before we probably lose. I don't think I'll be able to finish this crime district. Let's just start making progress towards the quests. A deadly performance. A singer shot her husband. An incident was an act of art? No! It's a freaking criminal case. We're gonna make that incident public. All right, Jessica Schmidt, what's going on? You look different on screen, but let me get straight to the point. We're representing the political opposition, and we'd like to build a hospital for the poor as part of the campaign. Do you have any preferences for a hospital? No, just do as you see fit. Okay. And now we get to week 8, and this is going to be my downfall. All right. Well, we made pretty good progress, I'd say, this time around. Very good progress. So that's one quest line down. Now we've begun the government quest line. And once again, a lot of progress with lots of different factions. The public and the government love me, but I got a fair bit with the elite this time. So 5 new cards added into the deck. The Department of Truth, the Pond, the Crime District, the Rare Factory, and the Cargo Platform. Reset the simulation and try again. Oh, wow. There's a lot of stuff to build over here. Do I have to rebuild the Heart of Business every time? I do. I'll bet you that's kind of the end game goal. Finish the quest lines, and you have to have one really good game where I'll bet you in all 4 corners you're going to have these Hearts of Business, and you have to survive long enough to fully surround them in order to win the game officially. That'd be quite challenging, actually. Still, I think that's a very good look at Technotopia and what this game has to offer. Pretty darn fun experience, right? A lot of randomization. They've added a lot of new features since the demo, which I just think improve the quality of life in a pretty big way. And I like that there are 4 different storylines that you have to follow, so there's a lot of replayability in a game like this. Once again, I want to say a thank you to the developer for sponsoring today's video. It's very much appreciated. If you guys want to learn more about the game, you can find a link in the description down below. But I think that's going to do it for me today, so thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.